Hello again. We've had a lot going on this month. I haven't done a video for a while. I have done quite a few on my other channel, and I'm proud to say that the subscription rate has doubled on my other channel. So that's 2 people now subscribed to it. Anyway, totally different channel, nothing about cars. The dirt rally in the Impreza. I'm really sort of loving the Impreza. It's got loads of power, loads of torque, loads of grip off the start line, and I changed to the top mounts, and it was working like I wanted it to. It needs a bit more fine tuning, but I could slide it. I could wiggle the steering wheel and get it to point which way I wanted it to. I'm learning the car. It's totally different to what I've been used to. And it was working well. We got a few second fastest stage times. I think the guy in the Subaru's getting the fastest stage times. I think I struggled to get there. I might get closer. The car's heavy. It's got aircon, radio, carpet. It's just lovely. I do like the car, and I'm quite happy with it where it is. And also, I've got it's doing well. It is doing well. He's just doing really well. So, if I can do well with carpet and aircon and all that, then yeah, I'm quite happy with that. The rally, we got 5 miles into it, and then the top mounts collapsed. Both the springs dropped out the bottom of the plates. It's the only part in the car that's not Subaru, and I've been having a massive battle with the company I bought them off. Yeah, it's just, I'm having a nightmare. Anyway, they're crap. I've bought stuff off of them before that's been rubbish, and this just doesn't work. I think the product could be good if it had a bit of development in it. The first set they sent were the wrong size, so obviously didn't know what size the hatchback Subaru was, even though they sold these parts. So I don't want to go on about it, but it ruined my rally. I'm in the Rally Drivers Championship, and yeah, I don't know what effect it's had on that. I came 1 from last. The guy who came last rolled his car, so we lost. I think we got a 16-minute penalty, missed a stage. So anyway, we managed to. What happened was, we did a stage. I think we were on the 3rd stage. As we came back up the top of the hill, everyone was like pointing at the car. Got up. Both the strut tops had pulled away from the top mounts, so the top of the struts were just flapping about in the inner arch. So it was going from massive negative camber to massive positive camber, and full caster to no caster, and all sorts. So it was going all over the place, and both wheels were doing it. So we got it back into the pits, managed to get some bolts and loads of washers. Dave was a legend. He works where the rally is, so he had loads of tools there, and we had to re-tap threads. And you can imagine that the top of the shock, with just the bearing on, not the housing, banging about in the inner arch. It was just smashing itself to pieces. Yeah, and Richard, he was the scrutineer. He was straight, and he was so hands on. You know, fair play. That was good of him. And there's another guy who helped out. He was getting loads of parts and bits and pieces. He was good. It was so good. There's a good community there who helped out and got stuck in. They were like, pulled the strut off, and we managed to get it bodged so we could go out and finish the rally. But we had to put bolts on the top of the top mounts, and I'll put some pictures on. So yeah, well, the rotation wasn't there, and you couldn't get the angle on it. Yeah, it wasn't as it should be. But we finished the rally and we've got a bit of time before the next rally. So I've been trying to get my money back from this guy, but there's not a chance. And he offered to send me some new bearings, but I said, well, all he keeps saying is, you fit them wrong. I have been building rally cars for 20 years now. I have fitted loads of top plates, top mounts for struts. I've never had a problem before. I've made my own coilover suspension and mated it to top mounts and never had a problem. I've done it on road cars. A lot of my cars have got top mounts, adjustable top mounts, because I know how important it is to get negative camber. So he keeps, so I'll say, no, I've got experience, I've fitted loads before, and he'll just say, well, you fit them wrong then. So anyway, he offered me a set of new bearings, and I said, no, the top mounts are knackered, because where the struts were jumping up and down, banging into it, it did the thread on the top of the strut. It was just smashing them into pieces. So he straight away came back and said, oh, exactly, there shouldn't be a gap between the strut and the top mount. You fitted them wrong. Unfortunately, the gap was endless because there was nothing connecting them together. They were very tight and very close before. Anyway, I'm not going into all that. I swore last time I bought anything off that company that I would never buy anything off them again. But I thought that was probably 10 years ago. I thought if they're still going, they must have sorted themselves out, but no, not a chance. And the fact that he just won't admit that I think what's happened is you've got the top mount and you've got a bearing that's in the top mount and it's got a circlip that holds the bearing in. I think there just wasn't any circlips on it. I never looked, I just put them on. I was in a rush. This is the second set, and the first set I'd stripped all the strut down, compressed the spring, pulled it all apart, put the top mount on, put it into the car, didn't fit. It was totally the wrong top mount. No, I didn't even put it on the strut because it was the wrong size holes in it. So there was two major problems with the first top mounts I got. So I sent them back and got another one. Anyway, I'll show you a couple of stages with the Ronez rally and how we got on. Loved it, had a really good time. It was a bit stressful with the top mounts. I had Jolly navigating for me. She navigated for the Attack. So we had a good time. It was good fun, and she's lovely, Jolly. I think she's a really nice person. I've got Goretti back we're doing the Jersey rally in October. We've got an entry in for that, and then I've put an entry in for the Bovington rally, so she's up for that as well. And then December I want to do the South Downs rally, so hopefully she'll be up for that as well. So she's just started a new job. Her life's been a bit upside down. She's had a bit of time off from work and that, so she's still keen. And we missed a couple of rallies because she was doing softball and yeah, different things. So hopefully it'll all go smoothly and we can continue, and then we can start doing the stages, testing the stages out. Right, I'm waffling now. I've had a couple of glasses of wine. It's not a Jack and I, it's a wine and I, probably, a wine or moan and I. Right, I'll do a couple of videos of these stages at the Ronez rally in the Subaru, and what fun it really was. I do like the Subaru. I've put it up for sale for 12 grand, which is bargain. I'm looking at eBay and they're all about 7 to 9 grand to get an Impreza that year that it is, with a ridiculous amount of mileage on. Mine's got 60,000 miles. It's a good car and it really has got potential. I just need to fine tune it. I need to get the camber sorted out, and then I need dirt tyres. I'm running slicks, and we're doing all right with slicks on. I think if we got dirt tyres on it, yeah, we'd do a lot better. I've got dirt tyres, I just can't get dirt wheels. I can't get 15-inch wheels. And I don't want to buy a set and then sell the car. So I've got to decide what I'm doing. I'm going to keep it or sell it. I've got other cars. Right, we're up where I keep my trailer, and the job is to get the struts off. This is the bodge we have to do to make it, to hold the bearings, try and keep the bearings in the top mounts. Because what happens is the bearings dropped out and there was a bit of thread left on top of the, where the struts connect to the bearing. So you've got to imagine, without these on, the nut was fitted to the top of the strut and it was just bouncing about inside here. I don't know. Yeah, I think the fact that the strut's wide enough to hold it in place was quite lucky, really. So it's not ideal. I've got to try and jack it up on the trailer to get it all apart. I'd rather not do it here, but this is the only place I can do it. That was just to get us back in the rally. So that bearing's actually pushed back up to where it should be. It looks like that one's on its way back up as well. So the bearing's just free to go up and down, and that's when they popped out. Right, I've got the wheel off, which isn't easy on the trailer. He said because the springs were rattling about, they were banging into the, that's what caused the problems, but there's definitely pressure on the spring there. They're not loose at all. Right, so I just got to undo these bolts and the three at the top, and then it should come off. Right, I've pulled the strut out the top, out the car. What happens is the bearing in there just dropped out, came out the bottom from the underside. So the way to bodge it was to put these washers and the nut in the thread that's left in the top nut. So that's what got us back out again. So I'm going to compress the struts, the springs, and pull it out and find out what's happened. But that should not pull out from the top hat. There's no way, but it was totally separated. Top hat was still where it should have been, and these you can see where it's just been knocking about at the top of the strut, where it's been hitting it and banging off it. Yeah, it's not good. Right, I've used a spring compressor and taken the spring off the shock and the dust cap. Yeah, the way it was, obviously the spring would be pushing up against that, and the spring took some compressing to relieve the pressure, so it's constantly pushing up. I had to wind it down a lot to get the tension off it. So inside the top hat there is a groove where there should be a circlip, and the groove's pretty much closed up in certain places. There is a... So I hope for his sake he forgot to put the circlips in, because if he's making these and selling them and the circlips are falling out, that's going to be catastrophic for someone. The obviously the strut, when the bearing came out, was still on the strut, so the housing was still in the fitted to the body, so the strut was just banging about. You can see where it's been hitting it and marked it and been scraping across. So yeah, fit for the bin. And unfortunately for him, they were fit for the bin. If that was supplied with a circlip, they are dangerous. I did 5 miles on them, and that's if you went on a motorway, if you went over a pavement or something, pulled one out and then went on a motorway, your front wheel's just going to be wobbling about. The top of the strut's going to be all over the place, and you can see, I don't know if that's because it's hit the tyre. No, it's inside the spring. It's been catching something anyway. Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with the way they were fitted. Absolutely nothing wrong. This plate is pushing right up against this, that's like a top hat. So there's no way that was fitted badly. Absolutely not a chance. But that's his excuse anyway. Anyway, it's a waste of time talking to him. You can't argue with someone who's never wrong. I think what I'll do is I'll take him back to mine and I'll put the standard ones back on. And then I'll have to try and get hold of some of these. That car's been off the road now for 3 weeks because I can't drive. It's unsafe to drive it like that. And it's quite a lot of work involved getting the springs off, taking the strut off and doing all that. So I'll have to do it, put the standard ones back on, and then I'll have to take it all apart again to put whatever ones I get on there. And that goes with the first time I did it, because the top mounts he sent, none of these holes would line up with the strut tops. So with the holes in the chassis and the bearing was these sleeves didn't fit the strut top, even though they're totally standard. Yeah, very annoying. Yeah, I've just pushed the bearing out. The bearing was very stiff. It was very difficult to get it out, which I suppose is what's holding it in before it lets go. Yeah, you can see the damage it's done just by the top of the strut banging up and down against it when it came out. I think, you know, if you were in a road car, you'd probably get away with it until you got to a pothole or something. Well, I've just taken the second strut off the other side, and yeah, that's where that's like the metal plate that came with the that's exactly as it was standard. So basically I just took the top mounts off, put these ones on. The nut that I put on to stop the bearing from falling down is jammed in there, so I'm going to have to retap the threads. This bearing here, it's sort of half come out. It was wedged back in to get us going again, but yeah, that'll have to be punched out. And then I can have a look and see what's going on with the groove. Yeah, that's the bearing knocked out. You can see it's not as bad as the other side, but still, I don't know. Would you see? It doesn't look like there's been anything in there. It's hard to tell now. You would have thought there'd have been markings all the way around. If it had had a retainer in that had been smashed out, you'd see some sort of marks on it. Looks to me like there was never ever a retainer on it. I didn't look, I just picked them up, thought they looked pretty, stuck them in the car. First bump, they popped out. That's what it looks like to me. No, I can't see any other way. I can't see how anything there would knock a circuit clip out. I did say to the guy I bought them off, I'm quite happy taking them to an independent mechanic, get them to strip them down, and they can say what they think went wrong with them. I said, but if they say it's down to not having a circuit clip in it, and it's nothing to do with the fitting, I said, you're going to be paying the bill. So obviously he didn't come back to me, but I did give him the opportunity. He's just saying I'm fitted them wrong, that's all he says. And you can't argue with someone who just won't listen to a word you say. Yeah, well, the car's looking a bit of a sorry state for itself at the moment. So I'm going to put the standard caps on and then I can build it back up again.